Oh yeah, baby dolls, welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news. The BT coin price is hanging out at 104,000 American dollars. What's cracking now? We are moving into the next month. Are we going to finish June with a nice green pump? We'll see about that. Altcoins are definitely due for a rally. Look at us on the 8-hour chart. We are still skitzing around, aren't we? We're still skitzing around. You never know, man. These things could always like poke up and like do one more skits out right here where it makes everyone really give up. They're like, man, these things are never going to move before they actually just start shooting up. That's usually what we find happens in crypto, especially as Bitcoin just does a whole cute little range. But there's just something a bit different about this one. And what is the big difference? The big difference is Ethereum is showing a lot of strength. Ethereum is finally showing a lot of strength. But firstly, you know, it's typical market trend. That's why people say, you know, it's wank off patterns or it's market manipulation. But it all comes down to that liquidity tap, you know. It depends what word you want to call it. It doesn't really matter either. Like, this is it. Oh, we go back down. We hunt the liquidity, hunt the stops, and then we go up. It is what it is. The market just basically just has to puke non-believer hands out in one way. That's what we call the big fat puke before we continue up the other way. The ETH BTC is very low. Just showing you. And look, friends, I'm not even joking. Ethereum could literally be 50% higher, and this thing is still very, very, very low. I mean, like, you know, if Ethereum just Ethereum literally rallied 50% in a week or a month. I'm not joking. So if Ethereum literally went to, let's check out where a 50% move would take it right here. So if Ethereum from 2,600, if it literally just did a move up immediately up to, there you go, where's 50% take it? Up to 3,900, it's still garbage. It's literally, it's still rubbish. Because check that out, right? If it did a 50% move up here, where would it be taking us? It's around 0.036 for the ETH BTC ratio, which from many years ago, 2021, it's still 60% down, which is horrific. And like, oh, don't even make me do this one. Don't make me do it. Oh, you made me do it. It's still 75% down. That's after a 50% move, a 50% flash move. I think we've got to crank it. Because you deserve it. And so do I. Now, what do we have to report? I mean, looking at the Bitcoin dominance right here. The Bitcoin dominance is still stalling around. This is the weekly chart. Remember, we are around the fibs here. We've actually done a fib from the high to the low. Look, it's come to the 61.8. Obviously, what we want to happen as altcoiners, pretty much, they just then never come back here. You have literally every single intergalactic signal in the world has told us that the big one's coming. Every single signal. You have, like, I've just written them up here, right? Willy Woo calling for Bitcoin dominance, 90%. Ben Copen calling for Bitcoin dominance, 70%. They kept moving up their lines. Here you have Crypto, bullish for altcoins, bullish for Bitcoin, bearish altcoins. So you just have all these people just calling literally for the end of altcoins, saying altcoins will never, ever go up ever again. So I mean, like, every single person is trapped. They're all turbo max long Bitcoin, all the Bitcoin leverage, the Bitcoin Treasury bubbles. You all know how this is going to end, right? This is the Ethereum chart here. The circles are the 3,800 level. You see, we for some reason, just 6 times, right? We tapped. So I do think with this nice price action here, this is very lovely price action. I think we really are headed to 3,200 next. And we might even have a bit of a squeeze up above it because the cuck mercantile exchange, all the scum hedge funds, all those pathetic, basically office people who have to pay for their water cooler. They've got, you know, receptionists with a titty job. She's got to pay for her new bolt-ons. All those basically scum who underperform holding and they take Christmas bonuses every year. All of them are short. Okay, they're short Ethereum and they're long on soy. They're long Bitcoin on leverage and they're long soy on leverage and they are short Ethereum. They're fading Ethereum. The Sol ETH ratio has now definitely started to confirm its close below this. This is the Sol ETH ratio. Friends, I know this is, I'm like 99% sure this thing is like done. It's done now. Because you had, look at this, you had your chance to get out here. It flips red. All right, you had the chance to get out here, which don't worry about it. Flips red. You had a chance to exit here. This was Donald Trump saving you with his Lim coin. And then you have Ethereum capitulating to pretty much zero, this piece of garbage, and it still has basically come back. So I think it's pretty much done. It's done. Also, you have PumpFun launching their token, which is going to come out soon. I'm not touching it. If you want, you can trade it. It might be added. I might I might leverage trade and stuff like that. Just swing trading, scalping. Nothing in terms of like buying and holding and believing because it's starting at 10 billion market cap. So that's actually what you want. Like for big market cap stuff, you like them in terms of you like how they're just not going to rug in a day, so you can like have leverage trading positions and trade it properly with thick liquidity. That's what it's used for. But in terms of wealth generation, you don't like that. Okay, you just basically like it entering the casino. For wealth generation, you want to find asymmetric upside altcoins, right? Now, I'm going to be making a lot of videos, friends, in the next couple of weeks, just to remind you, man, the ultimate goal, the vision. The vision is crypto to 10 trillion. Is it hope? Is it cope? Could be a bit of everything. I hope it is, okay? I did a fib from the top to the bottom, crypto to 10 trillion. Man, I really do hope we get that, because that'll be, like I mentioned here, Bitcoin 200K, Ethereum up to 16K, others 2.6 trillion, stables 2 trillion. There's mixing and matching and stuff in between. That's what it would pretty much get us. That's like, obviously, everyone's life has changed for the better then. Yeah, but you obviously haven't solved all your problems with money, but it's like, we always say, friends, you hear that saying, right? You've like, it's, you know, you could be stressed, right? Which you will be, but yeah, you could be stressed and rich or stressed and poor. Obviously, you choose stressed and rich every time, but you obviously, we've been working for it. So is it really, you know, it's basically taken a lot of our blood and soul. This is the others BTC chart. It's still garbage. It's still rubbish out here. We need the rest of the altcoins apart. Remember, a big representation of this is going to be Ethereum and the price sentiment around it. I'm going to now show you my friend Carlin Talks Crypto and the global M2 chart with Bitcoin. Remember, friends, what makes Bitcoin special is it has about an 89% long-term correlation, you know, month to month, 3 month to 3 month, not daily, correlation with M2. So Bitcoin and M2, they correlate. That's what makes crypto special. That's the global money printer. Whenever they print money, Bitcoin has a tendency to go up. I hope we don't ever see a world where they print money and Bitcoin goes down. That pretty much means it's pretty much game over. But, you know, I think we got a long way to go before anybody even considers that. I mean, like, even think about, for example, gold, right? When they print money, gold still like holds its value. The thing is, though, see, gold is only capturing the excess money printing. Okay, there's no growth rate on gold. Gold does nothing. So when they print money just to fill a GDP gap and to start the business cycle, gold does nothing. Gold's growth rate is not excessive. Okay, very interesting, is it? So when they print exactly much, so the economy needs 2 trillion to print, and they print exactly 2 or 2.5 trillion around that number, and then they do that, and then the business cycle takes over eventually 6 months, gold actually does nothing. Right? It doesn't actually do much. When would gold actually go up? Or gold captures all the excess money supply units. So it's when the inflationary money supply goes on, which makes sense, right? That's why also Bitcoin will eventually be like that. However, right, Bitcoin will probably not just want that, right? Because it wants to replace gold. But we're talking about like when Bitcoin's flipped gold. Hopefully one day Bitcoin has flipped gold. Bitcoin is now $1 million, $2 million. That's the next game, you know? For the rest of us, though, we're playing the business cycle because there's nothing we can do about the past now, right? I mean, we already had 30 freaking months down, right, with the business cycle, even more, 31, which I've updated here for you now, right? So, and even for the future, right? So business cycle down here, that's what we want to do, friends. When we go back up here, that's what we have to plan for. Hey, how do we plan for a world where the business cycle down and global M2 is going down or it's stalled? How do we plan for that world? Well, that's why I've told you that what we have statistically is Bitcoin and stablecoins, right? The US dollar stablecoin. That's what holds its value. I hope we don't get a cuck scenario. There might be like a 1 in 100 year event one day where US dollar goes down. And like that's basically, yeah, US dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes down, and gold's going up in our bear market. Okay, there might be a Joker scenario like that. Call it a Joker, as in like, 1 in 100 year event. But we'll see. We'll cross that path when we get there. And by the way, if you really are concerned about that scenario, you could always just buy Pax G, Pax Gold, right? Yeah, you know, technically you don't own the gold. They can rug you anytime, but like, you know, it's going to be at least it is your option, right? Because you could actually get scammed, friends, with gold. Gold is very easy to get scammed. You can go pay like a massive premiums for these rubbish, you know, like special edition gold stuff out here. And like the slippage on these things is usually big. Now I'm going to crack on with some Pulse Chain update and news. Prices are still very subdued and muted. We have PDI, which is better than Tether, up 7%. People's Bitcoin up 5%. Here we have everything up 1 and 2%. They're still not moving. Pretty much everything is still very stale. Some say stale. This is the Pulse Chain PLS price. Hopefully this is the continuation of the spring and the wank off before it comes up here and then eventually is ready to go. Yeah, we're just drawing squiggly lines. That's all we're doing. Hopefully the business cycle does eventually kick up. You got to remember, friends, as well. So remember here. So just to show you what the government actually do, right? Whenever the business cycle goes down, they keep printing money here. So these periods of time, they just keep printing. But then eventually what happens is you have the ignition. The ignition is the economy pretty much just has a surge of optimism, and then it basically starts a snowball, and then it's self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a flywheel. And then they don't need to print as much anymore. They keep printing and keeping everything like as is, but they don't do anything excessive because now the economy actually takes over. The economy is actually growing now, right? And then eventually it hits a point where it just comes back down. But this is where we get business confidence going up. This is altcoins going up. You know, this was obviously GME. This is, 2021 Dogecoin mania. That's how it all ends, right? But before that, you have things pricing in. So I'm hoping that we get something like this, and then I get to talk about future names. Like we talk about, AI bursts up and countries adopt Bitcoin and countries do more crypto and there's more payments and wallets and big ETFs get a lot of money and there's more successful AI stories, and then it ends with some sort of bubble at the end. That's what we hope happens, right? Well, that's pretty much how they like some sort of bubble where maybe I say, this fake AI, which was made by a dude with a calculator, raised like billions of dollars and hit 100 billion market cap for his fake AI company. You know what I mean? Like that's probably how it ends. When we want to see it get to that excessive point. A lot of people still doubting AI, man. I don't. I talk to AI. I'm starting to talk to it more. I had to diagnose some computer problems. Man, it's just wild, friends. My Wi-Fi, my wireless little dongle thing. It was it was starting. My internet started going crazy. So I started talking to AI. Started saying, hey, here's my computer stuff. What do you think is going on? And I'm like, I start talking to them like, hey, do you think maybe the thing's worn out? And they go, oh yeah, it has been like 2 or 3 years. It could be worn out, right? And then even suggested me a new one to get, and I got it, and it's good. That's what's wild. Also, I updated Windows 11, did some driver updates, and then my computer starts rebooting every hour. So I talked to basically AI, ChatGPT. I said, hey, my computer's resetting. I just did recently a driver update, and they're like, yeah, there's a lot of clashes with these real tech drivers. It could be a lot of clashing. Here are all these steps to do. It's give you your 1 to 7 different things to try. Number 1 work, which is just do a system restore back to 2 days ago. Man, it's crazy, man. AI is doing a lot of things out here. Yeah. Also, friends, funny as well. I've got very poor circulation in my hands and feet. So in winter, my hands and feet are literally like -6 degrees. Okay, my hands and my feet always cold. Okay, and then in summer they're always hot. My hands and feet. Oh, it doesn't even matter if we're inside. So there's always poor circulation. Poor circulation in my hands and feet. I started talking to AI. It's just cute. Just talking to it. I'm like, hey, what can I do? And it gives me like these little toe curl crunches and like, dude, hey, do your hands and do these wavies and do these stretchy. It's kind of cool. You can diagnose all these things out here. It's kind of like you're talking to a real human. I really feel it. So, I mean, like that's just the text part, right? What's going to happen when like it starts eating into jobs? What's gonna be like when it comes to that, friends? What are we gonna have going around where like just we have people who are like full-time just your AI component manager for a company, but yeah, they just like, oh, there's a legal issue here, and then like they talk to AI to manage the legal stuff. They become like a manager of AI humans. That's interesting, right? So what we might actually find is we might find AI pushes out more technical people, and then the managers, people might have to do more managerial roles, right? Because you're like, oh, I've got to go do something for the legal stuff. It's like, but you're managing a person, so you go talk to the AI as if it's a human. That's what I'm just guessing. That's what I'm trying to logically think forward. You're like, hey, hey, legal dude, which is just an AI itself. Like, hey, there's a form that's come in. It's really long. Have a read. What do they want you to do? And the AI goes, oh, they want us to respond with this. And like, okay, do it. Do it, robot. Do it. You're not getting any lollipops today. Oh, man, it's going to be funny how these things are going to play out. Remember, friends, in bull markets like this, they don't go and just price in today. They price in the future too much. They get euphoric, right? So that's what we're waiting for. Now, what's coming up next in the month of Marwai? Hopefully, man, we do get some bit of Pumpy G actions that start actually like making up for all these 4.5 freaking years. I still think we're in a pit stop now, and we're waiting for this next pump, friends. The Tasty Tubes. We're actually well into the Tasty Tubes area for the Kemba. I guess we'll see how we play out. Yeah, man, look, it could all end in December, friends. It could all end in December. We could have one big gargantuan season. It could be extended. I guess we'll see. Now, let's crack it on. PumpFun have raised $1 billion for their token launch coming soon. And they've raised $1 billion actual cash dollars and their ICO valuation is 10 billion market cap. Enormous, no value there, okay? You never know, it could even trade. You never know, one day maybe trades at 20 or 30, whatever. Crypto Banter did a full 40-minute episode on it, and friends, I'm just going to show you, man, just this is what this is. Look, just I think everyone's been like waking up now. But the business cycle's low, so like, you know, everything's just like, are people really waking up? I reckon no. It's just like your dopamine's being cut, and now you're like left to think about, hey, who are the people I'm listening to, and what prices am I actually buying stuff, and nothing actually goes up, right? Because the business cycle is low. So I have a picture here. This is Randy Boo's latest episode. So I was watching this myself. I made this report myself. Crypto's biggest wealth creation opportunity, PumpFun. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to respectfully say absolutely. Wealth creation for who? For the insiders to dump. You're not going to get any wealth creation. You can't buy this stuff. You're new, friends. Yeah, PumpFun, you heard about it everywhere. You can't buy this stuff on the open. All the insiders are already in. You're not early. I'm going to show you more stories. So I want to cover this again later on. But yeah, there's this one guy. There's one guy here, Mr. Jose. Cover him later. He got in the ICO at 6 million market cap. You're probably thinking, hey, how skilled is he? Is an amazing investor? He must have had the vision. No. He admits the developers of PumpFun are his ex-teammates. Right. That's it. They just gave it to him. There you go. Now he's got $4 million in it. So now, as soon as it comes, he's going to try dump immediately everything. He's just going to walk away. He actually said, yeah, this makes up obviously for everything. But there you go. Luck. Where's the skill? You know what I mean? We can't be like that, friends. So I've got a whole episode for you coming on later on. More about that. But check out this, friends. Crypto Banter. I just want to show you the state of the comments, okay? So I'll just read this for you. So in the show, right, Ran, he does admit he was given insiders VC allocation tool. He does say, he said, hey, you know, we were given allocation to these. Obviously, because that's what they've got to do, right? They've got to shield to an audience. You've got over 1 million people subscribed to this 1.1 or 1.2 million. Ran, a quote from him. He said in there, I think this PumpFun token is an amazing event and will have an overflow wealth effect. So I know, man, everyone's hustling their game. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if there's an on-flow effect, though, it'll be from the business cycle going up. But yeah, just like, so what you'll find, friends, is people just trying to say nice things about it because they've been given an allocation, right? Like, oh, it's going to be positive for the industry and everything out here. PumpFun have dumped $550 million of soy. They've just been dumping soul on everyone out here. Maybe they give everybody a big airdrop. So if you've traded heaps on PumpFun, maybe you'll get something, some sort of rebate out here. There's a lot of these insiders, man. They've done like millions and millions and millions of dollars of volume trading in and out, dumping on their followers and copy trading. So that would be kind of nuts to see. Now, the comment section, friends, literally the comment section. Oh my gosh. Check out this comment section. Look at this. Big scam. Rand was paid to promote this. I guess Rand is already bought in. Sounds like Rand was at the pitch meeting. By far the worst episode on this channel ever. Friends, this is all in a row. Like, you got to think about this, dude. It doesn't stop there. It's literally nearly, I'm not joking, 99% comments like that. The whole thing. It's like everyone's woken up. Look at this. Rug of the century, 45 likes. Latest banter scam. Stick it where the sun do not shine. Rand would shill anything for money. Another scam. Nobody is buying it. I mean, it goes on. Big scam. Rand was paid to promote this. I guess Rand already bought. Look at this. It just goes wild and wild. Actually, I read this part as well. Check this one. How to be scammed. Smiley face. Another paid ad. Rand promoting this scam. Blah, 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 blah. It's like absolute, man. Because the whole episode is literally one big advertisement for it. So it makes you wonder, right? Who's going to bid this stuff? Who's actually going to buy? I don't know. I don't know where these people come from. But what happens is, like, there are people, friends, they're mid-curvers. So mid-curvers, they've got a bit of normie blood in them. So they see the presentation sheet for PumpFun, where they show we have 150,000 daily users. We have 5 million unique accounts. They put these stats in you. They say, oh, we generate this much token swap volume per day. You know, the comparables is this. Therefore, we could be worth 150 or 100 billion one day. And this investors you get in, they're like, yes. So they don't see the PumpFun. They just see those numbers. So they're investing like it's cash flow and stuff out here. So it will have a big valuation because just a lot of users on it. Because they can basically monetize them in any way. So they're going to release a token and it'll probably trade around. But yeah, all the unlocks are going to be obviously something to watch out here. And look, it could be a top signal, friends. I mean, it is $1 billion raise. It is. Remember in my exotic top signals? The thing is, though, it's not public. Okay, it's a private $1 billion raise, right? If it was public, I'll say that, bro, the end is really near. The end is really near, or we're going to even have a bigger, like, $3 billion public raise at the end of the year, which we all have to bet on. All right, that's pretty much it, right? Remember, my friends, EOS raised $4 billion. And then Pulse Chain raised $1 billion. So EOS raised $4 billion in 2017 and 2018. It ran for a year. But then Pulse Chain in 2021 raised, Pulse X raised $1.1 billion. Right? That's in the next cycle. So it did less. That's why we all thought there was more to go, because we're comparing it to EOS. No, you can't do that. That's why I just say, hey, let's just put the $1 billion mark. The $1 billion mark is a number big enough, I think. Cracking on with some more news. Spanish coffee chain Venardi Coffee plans to invest over $1.1 billion in Bitcoin for its reserve strategy, following MicroStrategy's playbook to transform into a Bitcoin-first company. So we're going to start to see more of this over time. More companies coming into cryptocurrency, and we'll be cranking it for them. So more companies will be adding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. They love number go up. They treat it like savings, you know. But look, I know how this is going to end, dude. Like, do you understand what a savings account in Bitcoin means? It means you have to be willing to, like, watch your savings disintegrate 75%, right? It might stop at 70%, but it's going to feel like it's disintegrated to zero. Okay, it doesn't matter what actually truth is. What do you feel like? Yeah, you feel like you're getting richer. Like, you buy into something, it didn't make you rich. You feel like you're going to get rich in it. You're speculating on the future, right? Well, what about when it goes down? Yeah, even if Bitcoin goes down like 65 to 70%, doesn't matter. It's going to feel like it dropped 99%. Like, it's pretty much worthless. Yeah, so they have not been tested. That's another thing that we have to be wary of. That's eventually what we're going to build up to, that Bitcoin treasury bubble. I'll be making more content and stuff to show you about what's been going on. This is like a classic sign, friend. Like, we see this and we're still cranking it because we want them to, yes, bring everybody in, price in the future, get too excited so we can pretty much have the crypto 10 trillion valuation of our dreams. Corporate treasuries now hold over 3% of all Bitcoin, with 60 plus firms doubling their Bitcoin in 2 months. So now we're seeing a bit of the FOMO and the people creep up. It's amazing, right? There's over 60 firms. I can tell you right now, a third of them are like definitely non-believers, and you never know, mate. Like, what if Bitcoin goes down with recession in the bear market, and they're going to be saying, oh, we still love Bitcoin, it's just we need to replenish our cash flow, or we have to save employees or something. So you could always make an excuse for stuff like that. So that's going to be wild. Maybe they don't have to worry about it now at a 100K Bitcoin, but man, we can't talk like that. You know, just because we think it's going to 200, you can't just say, oh, it's safe. Like, we don't know it's going to 200. What if it stops at 170? What if it literally stops at 170 and drops 75%, right? We don't know that. Come on, man. You know you're not early to Bitcoin at 100K, right? You know you need a cycle to rinse them out. We know that. We don't know how high it's going to go first, but you know that. You know that. If you ask yourself 4 years ago, are you early to Bitcoin if you're buying at 100K? You'd say hell to the no, dude. We'd all say that. No, just be honest with yourself. Chinese firm Weebus files with the US SEC to raise $300 million for XRP Treasury plan and Ripple payments integration. Very interesting. So Ripple, they're all trying to do sponsorships and partnership agreements to try to accumulate their tokens and everyone to speculate, because it's all digital networks, right? I think that's a future, friend. Remember, crypto, it's not like a stock. It's a digital network, okay? Remember, a stock has a company, there's a HR department and stuff out here. With a network, it's global. Crypto is global. You're valued like a city, but your city is like dispersed all over the world, right? So that's why it's Metcalfe's law. It depends on the people in the city, right? And yeah, they're all just internet servers at the end of the day. But that's how these things are valued. It's the market has decided this. We did not say, oh, this thing's worth this much. It is what it is. You have this Metcalfe's law. You double the amount of people, 2x the people, you get 4x the value. Yeah, you 10x the people, you get 100x the value. So that's why you're going to see more of these integrations and stuff out here trying to punt out, because, you know, there's CEOs and there's companies and there's employees, and it's pretty much the future. It's almost like, friends, if imagine you were social media and you could like trade your own stock and it was linked to something, right? You could trade someone's popularity, right? Based off how many followers and how popular you think someone's going to be in the future. You know, like there would have been people, there would have been guys who maybe are seeking out very attractive 16-year-olds. Yeah, and on their social media profile, thinking, oh yeah, this girl's she's popular at school. When she's like 18, she's going to know how to take the proper angles and she's going to be really popular. And imagine you could buy into their like Instagram account. You could like punt and speculate on it like a token. You anticipate the network effect's going to be bigger. Or what about seeking out music artists, right? That's all I'm going to think, like, you know, like, because like there's a lot of simps on the internet. They follow a lot of girls. And then you have a lot of the... you have like young music artists, like, oh, they're really talented, and you found like a young Justin Bieber. Imagine speculating on that. That'd be really wild, right? But the hard part is connecting the token, because anybody can just go make a token anywhere. That's why maybe at one point there's going to be like a Facebook type of platform. It could be Facebook itself that gives everybody the token because they already have the network effect. That's what I told you, friends. That's why crypto, it's the market's smarter than you think. It's open source. So like, that's why if you go make a mad idea, it's not going to just trade at, 3 billion market cap. It's because the market knows the better your idea, Facebook just copies it. Uniswap copies it. They already have the people. So what matters is the people and the following. And then you can just take any idea in the world and put it in, right? That's why it took me a while to figure that out. That's why I've made so much of the highest value content in crypto. What type of a freak I am. Oh my gosh, how many videos are we up to now? Over 5,100 videos. Yeah. So I do all this like philosophy, peanut brain thinking. I'm thinking, I could always wonder like, hey, am I wrong or is the market wrong? Well, I definitely know I'm wrong with my thinking. I need to change my thinking. Basically coming with a clean slate. It's not like I have one way. I'm trying to learn. I'm like, oh, everyone's saying crypto's a scam or whatever. I'm like, why do these things have value? They have a solid bid. And I'm trying to think, is there a way I can explain these? Almost like a scientist, friends. Trying to do this science, but what I'm doing is like I'm observing reality, and I'm like, we've seen so many booms and busts. There's something going on here. We're still early because none of us can figure stuff out, and that's why I love running towards this uncertainty, whereas other people run away because that means we're still early, right? Donald Trump, friends, has urged major loser Jerome Powell to cut interest rates again. So the ADP jobs came out at 37K against 111K expected. So what they do is, friends, there's non-farm payroll. It is literally the most important data, comes out the first Friday of every month. And why is this the most important data? It's always the highest moving for bonds, S&P 500, inflation expectations, everything. Now, why is that? If you go and check on the first Friday of every month, right? Why is that? It's like all the economic data models, their biggest forecast weights is how jobs are doing. Yeah, that's their biggest forecast weight. It's like the biggest determinant of the fact that because once jobs turn, nothing reverses it. Okay, that's why it's super important. So jobs get better, nothing's going to reverse this trend. When jobs start to get worse, nothing reverses it. Okay, that's why it's extremely important data. That's why on this data, a lot of the market makers will pull all the bids and offers. Now, I used to trade basically on farms. I traded like freaking, my gosh, how many sessions did I do? I think I traded like 80 or 90 of these. My gosh, over like 10 years, man. Yeah, you started losing your edge at the end because the bots got really smart at stuff like this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So the jobs, this is so that jobs comes out Friday. This one is like a preliminary of like another custom data, but it doesn't read, they're not 100% determined. You have to wait for the Friday one. It's not like they're definitely linked. Just in as well, friends. So James Wynn got liquidated again. He lost 240 BTC value to 25 million. He did a 40x leverage long again. He still holds 770 BTC, so an $80 million position. His liquidation is 104K. I wonder if we're like liquidating right now. We're really, really close. This is his actual open position right now. Liquidation price 103,900. James Wynn, he's got a long here. He's lost 1.1 million. Margin used 2 million. Man. So James, I really hope, man. I really hope this is all one big joke scam. You don't play with that much money as a joke, though. You know what I mean? Like his liquidation is like, I can't even like show you, bro. Your liquidation is literally like right here, like 103,000, bro. How, man? Look at this chart, man. How can you look at this whole chart and go, yep, I'm gonna have my liquidation right here, man? Like just to show you how like aggressive. That's 40x leverage. Man, honestly, yeah, to sleep at night, oh man, I guess I'd put 82,000 liquidation, but even then I'd be like, yeah, you just never know. You know what I mean? You literally just never know. But that's pretty much it. That's like the beginning of where I'd feel safe, right? I would not even feel safe at like 94. You could always get pinged on something like this. You just never know, right? Let's just show you how dangerous it is, man. So, see, friends, in trading and markets, a lot of it, it's not just about you, man. There's a lot of unlucky things that happen in markets. They're wild and chaotic, and then just, you know, one slip up and you get wrecked. JP Mosquito has planned to offer clients financing backed by crypto ETFs, just further confirming Jamie Dildo is a knobhead and not to listen to any of these scum banksters. Donald Pump has called for the scrapping of the US debt limit entirely, warning that it poses a threat of economic catastrophe. So he says, look at this. I am very pleased to announce that after all these years, I agree with Senator Elizabeth Warren on something. The debt limit should be entirely scrapped to prevent an economic catastrophe. So, yeah, the debt is always going to go up. So the thing is, friends, they have a debt limit and then they just keep raising it every time. It just keeps going up by staircase. But they put it as like, why do they do that? Okay, it's for the bonds. It's so if you own the bonds, there's no unlimited spending thing. So you know if they're going to spend a large amount, they can reject it. All right. Actually, I think it's a nice system because the bondholders want to know, like, hey, the country of America can't be overrun by like one half of the political party. You know, it's psychological warfare for them out here. I don't think it's a good idea to scrap it. But whatever they want to do, they make it work anyway. So, I mean, it's all a Fugazi scam anyway, and you're in crypto because they can't print or raise your debt limit right here. Tim D. Draper. So, friends, Tim D. Draper has, I say, the best eyebrows in all of the crypto industry. Strong, dark, trustworthy as well. Thick eyebrows, very bushy. You could take him sand dune riding. You could do burnouts in the middle of those sand dunes, friends. There's nothing getting into this man's eyes with eyebrows like that. Like, check them out. So, Tim D. Draper, Timmy is actually a visionary, man. I think Timmy bought, how much? He bought Bitcoin on the Mt. Gox collapse. He bought it off the government. How much Bitcoin did Tim Draper buy? He bought 30,000. My gosh, bro. 30,000 BTC. He bought it for 19 million. Do you want to know what's funny? He actually paid a 10% premium or 20%. That's wild, bro. I think it was $400 on the market. He paid like 440 or 480 for it. Why? That's wild. In the collapse, man. Such a visionary, man. Such an absolute boss. He still believes Bitcoin's gone to 250K, but he had that 250K target back in 2021, and then we stopped at 60. So he's awesome, man. His son's awesome as well. They're real visionaries. They got a real good talent for seeing long-term stuff. I remember just hearing stories of him, and I was like, how do you see the future? I just like, but I think now that I look back, I'm now like thinking, I'm like having this moment to basically collect my thoughts, and I'm believing, well, it was like listening and seeing guys like this do it just to show me it's possible. Right. If you have a scarcity mindset, friends, you're just a cheat. You're just going to sell your shitty little 2x every single time. But the fact that I knew someone like that, it was actually possible to buy in the wake of collapse, Silk Road collapse, pay above market price and hold and literally just say, yeah, man, this is going to fly like you won't believe. It's just Bitcoin and cryptos are better money. We're changing the system. The world's getting better. It's all moving digital. Look at the long-term stuff. I don't care about this short-term stuff. I just watched him get interviewed time and time and time again. And man, he was so right. He was so right. Let's have a look at when he was actually buying BTC, friends. Oh my gosh, 2014. Here it is, around here. In the wake of the collapse, this is what Bitcoin looked like, man. Can you believe it, dude? You just watch something do like literally 1,000x run, and then you're still up a couple of 100x's, and this guy's paying 20 million for BTC here, and it still goes down lower. Oh man, that's wild, and it doesn't look too bad now, does it? Look what ends up happening, man. What a wild move! It still doesn't get out. Oh man, these people. Oh man, I have so much respect for them just to see that, man. I can't believe that. Like, they're like, yeah, this is a once in a generation event. That's why, friends, stuff like that. I show Pulse Chain and PDI and Hex. They're our cute ones, but they're nothing compared to these, man. You had no examples to go off in these. Yeah, you literally had none. You literally had to take a bet on society. With these, like, I think PDI is exactly 400x to $1, which is gargantuanly huge as a number, but it's been done. You know what I mean? It's been done. It doesn't take anything away from it, but you're like, yeah. Oh, is that going to be a thing that goes 400x? Before, man, you didn't even know what before you weren't even legally allowed to think of a coin existing on the internet doing a 10x, let alone a thousands of X's, right? So I wonder what's going to come in the future now. Where are we heading from here? What I might do, friends, is on this 8-hour chart, I'll just put you a nice super trend, which I have now placed here. And this is on an 8-hour chart. So we are still red on the super trend, all right? We are red on the super trend. And what I can do now, I'll put you like a cute little, just a 21 EMA. You can just see how I've added it now. You see how, friends, right? When you've confirmed on the red super trend, and then this is the first pullback into the 21 EMA. So yeah, I would not be surprised if we do have some sort of just like one more stab down. Yeah, stab down. There's liquidity here. Maybe we get that, and then, you know, everyone gives up here. Everyone's like, it's over. We're never going up. Altcoins are never going up. It's all over. And I won't be surprised in that move if Ethereum is like at 2,500, 24, 2,300, and it's holding up very well. I won't be surprised if that happens. Okay, before it's finally ready to continue up, and then maybe this super trend will be up here, and then we can flip it green and continue up. So I'm just drawing you some squiggly lines, but just to show you, right? You know, monitoring this day by day, we are red on the super trend here. If you're curious as well, we check the daily chart. We're still green on the super trend. We are, but look at this. We've been running for a very long time. I mean, like since April, right? Without a flip of the red yet, right? Obviously on the green, we're still green as hell on BTC. So I'll just move it out here. So this is a nice, cute little chart. We're just monitoring it. I just put it down 8 hours because I'm covering it every single day. Oh man, what's gonna happen from here? James Wynn, the greatest to ever do it. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.